Welcome to a short reflection by Sebastian Mahfoud on Canto XVIII of Dante's Inferno. To understand the eighth circle, wherein are punished the fraudulent and malicious, it's helpful to think in terms of an open-air theater in the round, with the stage its center point. From where we begin on the perimeter, we're heading straight to the stage, which happens to be another hole in the ground leading to the ninth circle. It's a pretty far drop, and it'll take a giant to lower us down there. But in the meantime, we have other concerns. As we descend toward the stage, we find 10 ditches, or bolgia, over which we must cross. And in each ditch is a different degree of center. It is here in the audience, rather than on the stage, that the symphony is actually played out. These centers are guarded and tortured by actual God-forsaken demons, representing human conscience against the abuse of reason, since these centers' crimes weren't bestial in nature. We'll come to appreciate the difference between these demons and the half-animal monster guardians above. In the first ditch is housed the Panderers and Seducers, differentiated really by the way they abuse their reason in the pursuit of sexual conquest. That the first level of malice has to do with sexual crimes makes sense when we consider that sexual passion is always the least of sins on Dante's scale, since it's the most natural. When we put our reason into manipulating others for sexual gain, however, we're doing something quite different from simply allowing the moment to carry us away, as was the case with Paolo and Francesca in the second circle. We're actually allowing ourselves to corrupt the essential difference that separates us from the beast. We're literally abusing our own reason and putting it to use in forcing others to bend to our will for our own gain, not for theirs. Dante provides examples. In the upper level of this bolgia, we meet Benediccio Caccianemico, who, in order to curry favor, arranged for his sister to have sex with a neighboring marquis. In the lower level of this bolgia, we find Jason of the Argonauts, who seduced Medea into helping him steal the golden fleece. Why the Panderers are one level higher than the Seducers is fairly clear using the rubric of how malice disintegrates community. One who panders is doing so for someone else, while one who seduces is doing so only for himself. Small difference when one intentionally uses another, but significant enough to merit different levels within the bolgia. Though both groups are moving in different directions around their respective levels, each receives the same punishment, lashes by devil's whips to hurry them along in their circling. In the second bolgia we find the Flatterers, those who manipulated others with false claims of their good, in order to gain something by it. Rather than speak the truth, they spoke what the other person wanted to hear, and their habit in doing so was at the expense of the other's sense of rightness. Here, Dante finds Alessio Interminelli da Luca, who cries as he wallows in shit, "Down to this have the flatteries I sold the living sunk me here among the dead." It was more than his nose that turned brown. Dante also meets a whore, Thais, who is said by Cicero to be an example of immoderate flattery. Her meaning is profound in relation to the pimps who are better positioned in the bolgia above. If pandering is the abuse of another for one's own gain, then whoring is the abuse of a whole host of clients in flatteries that justify their expenses. Sex crimes in our age usually go unpunished, and are even encouraged in some ways by audiovisual media in the form of some ad campaigns, sitcoms, and films that glamorize sexual conquest and ambition. Francesca, in the second circle, called the people who produce these sorts of things panders, or pimps, for the way they sell desire to others. If the true nature of human integrity can be cultivated, we can guard ourselves against the temptation to curry favor through falsehood, which is the real focus of these two bolgias. And this means being not only good stewards of our sense organs, but also good stewards of our rational faculties. We ought to conform our appetites to our reason, which is the lesson we learned in the circles above, but that only works when we have done the groundwork in conforming our reason to our true design as human persons. If we can do that, then we simply won't use others as means to our ends, but value them in the only way we are meant to do so, through love.